Today I will show you how to detect problems in a used car before buying it. For example, this car has a lot of mileage, a little bit more than 100,000 miles or around 180,000 kilometers, and it still drives well, and it is possible to find used cars in good condition. But to do that, you need to follow several steps when revising a used car before you buy it. The first thing to do is to check the interior of the car. Look at the plastic panels, look at the steering wheel, look at the seats. Are they clean? Is the inside of the vehicle clean? If it's dirty and dusty, probably the owner didn't take care about the car at all. So if someone doesn't even care about the interior of the car, there are less chances that that owner would care about other components of the car, the most important ones. So as soon as you see that the inside of the vehicle is dirty, dusty, and not clean, move away from such a car. You don't even have to keep looking at that car. Next, check the mileage and make sure the mileage is not fake. How do you do that? You can check the steering wheel. How much is it worn out? This is one of the indicators which could tell you whether the mileage has been manipulated or not. Some people change the mileage before they try to sell their cars. In some countries it is more difficult to do because you pass technical inspections and they note down the mileage every year, but still people can do it. Another thing to check are the pedals. This car has 100,000 miles, and look at the condition of the pedals. They're not that worn out, but you can see pedals that are very worn out. Also look at the handle of the gear. It could be very worn out. Of course, these parts can be also replaced, and if they are too new, it also could mean that the owner changed that on purpose, trying to hide the tear and wear of the car. Next step is when you turn the ignition key on, you need to make sure that these lamps appear. This is the oil pressure sensor, and this is the engine error lamp. Some people, to hide computer errors, disconnect this lamp, and oil sensors may get bad and not send any signal to the computer, and it may not light up when you turn the ignition key in on position, but before you start the engine. Make sure these lamps appear, and then when you move the key to turn on the engine, these two lamps should disappear. So you see, this is how it should work. Next thing to do would be to use the OBD reader. They're not expensive, but they can check whether you have any errors in the computer. Even if the engine check light is not on, you may have some pending errors in the computer, and you can see them only if you plug into this device into your car. The engine check light will turn on after the pending errors are confirmed, so it's important to check them before they actually appear. Some owners before sale may reset or delete those error codes, and for them to appear again, the car will have to drive some kilometers. This is how the OBD reader connector looks like, and the socket is usually located under the steering wheel. The sockets are usually protected by some caps. You will have to turn on the ignition key without turning on the engine to check the data. For example, here you can go to this menu here, press enter, and here is what I was telling you about. You see the MIL status is on, which means that the check engine light is actually on. Status on appears because the light is actually on, and when I turn on the engine, the status will switch to off. Let's check. I'll have to exit the menu and go back. Now you see the status is off. Now the next lines that you can see here, DTC, the errors in the computer are 0, readiness supported is 7, and all of them should be complete. And you can see I have readiness complete 7. If you see that readiness supported is not equal to readiness complete, then there is a problem with the car. Next, you can check also if there are any errors. We read the errors and we see that the vehicle has no fault codes. And then we can go to I am readiness. And we see what indicators have been checked. If the car wasn't in use for a long time, or was disconnected from the battery, or the codes were reset, it could be that some of these indicators are not complete, and the computer will be checking the data coming from the sensors related to these indicators to confirm that everything is okay with the car. So the perfect scenario would be to choose the car which has all indicators complete. After this, you could go and check the car body if it is important for you. In some countries, people also check the car body, the paint thickness, to check if the car was repaired or had any important accidents. And then after that, the next step would be to check the engine compartment under the hood, check the liquids. One of the ways to check if the car had accident is to check whether the windows, the glass was changed. On the windows you can see this data here, and these numbers would mean when this glass was manufactured. This is 1 means 2001, for example. If you see original brand, this is Chrysler, then this is original glass, original year. So you can go through all window glasses and check this data, and you will find out if any of the glasses was broken. Another step would be to open the plastic panels where possible and check the metal inside and see if there were any repairs. For example, here you can see some metal sheets have been soldered together, and this solder is covered with specific material which is done in the factory, and it's nicely laid. If the repair was done in a repair shop, it would not look so nice. So these are the signs to look at. In some cars you would have spare wheel under the carpet, so you would have to lift the carpet and check the space under the carpet where the spare wheel is located. Check also the metal sheets in there. You will be able to see if there were any impacts in those parts. My car doesn't have this spare wheel compartment, so I can't show it here. Here, for example, you can also check how the metal sheets are soldered together. These are perfect factory soldering points. If a car is repaired in a repair shop, you would not have this ideal connection here. Here, for example, the connection between the metal sheets is very clean. These parts, for example, if there was a major accident, these connections would not look so clean. Here as well, you see these dots here. This is factory soldering. Here as well, all clean. Also check the stickers on your car. You would see that the original stickers would mean that the car didn't have major accidents and it was taken care of really well. Here under the hood, for example, you see the stickers. After important accidents, you usually don't see these type of things. So now we are under the hood, and the most important thing now is to check the liquids. Make sure you check the car when it's cold, because you need to have to check the coolant. It should be clean with no oil in it. The engine is made up of several parts, and these parts are screwed to each other, and inside are the channels through which flows the coolant, and they put gaskets between those two metal parts to connect the channels, and the gaskets get worn out with time. And it happens, for example, if the engine gets overheated, and through those gaskets the oil that's circulating also inside of the engine block can get into the channel where the coolant is circulating. And so if you see the oil inside of the coolant, then it means that the engine has a very important problem and you should not buy such a car. So let's open this cap slowly. The engine should be cold because there's a lot of pressure inside when the engine is hot. And then you look at this coolant, you should not see any oil spots or any foam, and the coolant should be clean. No brown substance inside. Sometimes people add additives inside to seal engine leaks, and with time the coolant becomes brown and full of debris as well, some kind of dirt. Also, if the channels inside of the engine rust a lot, you would also see orange color, which would mean that there's a lot of rust accumulating inside of the channels through which the coolant flows. Sometimes some cars don't have access to the coolant from here. You will have to check the coolant tank. Some tanks can be very dirty as well, which may indicate that the coolant is dirty, was contaminated with oil, or additives were added to make the engine run better or seal some leaks, which usually doesn't work. Also, you need to open the oil cap and check what's going on inside. Look at the oil cap, it should not have some debris. Sometimes the owners neglect their cars so much that the oil gets fried and you can see some pieces, not even liquid, they're solid pieces that attach to the cap. And here you can see also the metal inside is pretty clean. Some cars have them very dirty, covered with very old fried oil. You would have to stay away from an engine that would have that kind of debris inside. The oil should be ideally dark brown, but of course the owner before sale may change the oil, so you may miss that part, but usually the metal parts inside and the cap will show something if it was too neglected. You can also check this oil stick here and check the condition of the oil on the stick. A good engine should have some brown, a little bit transparent oil if changed periodically. Also, you can check the power steering fluid. Just open the cap, look inside, is it clean, was it taken care of? And you can check also the brake fluid, open it and check how the liquid looks like. Another thing to keep in mind when checking the engine under the hood, if the engine compartment is too clean and you notice that it has been washed, it could be suspicious because maybe the owner is hiding something. For example, the engine compartment in this car has not been washed for years, and you can see it's dusty, but it's not dirty. A little bit of oil coming through the gaskets could be okay, but there should not be any dripping, no dripping on the ground. This is how a regular engine compartment would look like. Just a little bit of dirt, a little bit of dust. And also check under the car. There should be no dripping oil. You may not see the drops of oil if the car just arrived, but if it was in a garage sitting for a long time, you may see some drops. Check that out. And after you do all these checks, the last step would be to take this car to a repair shop, lift the car and check what's going on at the bottom of the car. Always check that. The car can be very rusty, the metal bars and axles may be in very bad condition, so check that out. Another important thing would be to check the pressure inside of each cylinder of the engine. That will tell you if the engine has all cylinders and pistons in good conditions. That's one of the important steps also to do, but will require to go to a repair shop and ask for professional assistance. They have special tools to check the pressure. And of course, after all these checks, drive the car. Let the owner drive the car first, sit in the passenger seat and listen to noises and see how it feels inside of the car. Don't turn on any music, and then drive this car at low speed and at high speed, and wait until the car heats up to see how it works at its normal temperature, and then drive the car yourself. See how the steering wheel behaves, especially when you turn it. See if there's any vibration or noises or knocking sounds. And finally, do the legal checks. Get the car plate number and check if this car has any debts with banks or any taxes unpaid.